Join us today as we welcome the new year and discuss tentative plans for 2023. Welcome back to those of you who've been here before, and welcome to those of you who are new to the channel. It's going to be an odd video for you to jump in on because it's talking about our future plans.
Yeah.
Hopefully you've seen our past work, but hey.
If not, they ain't going anywhere anytime soon, as far as we know.
Yeah. And as Marvel Comics used to assume, every issue is someone's first issue, so every video is someone's first. So if this is yours, it's your lucky day. Maybe. I don't know. Depends on what you like, I guess. Plans for people you've never heard might not be your thing, but stick with us. Check the other videos.
Yes.
Okay, so last year, just to kind of recap, we started the channel in July.
Like early July, late June.
Yeah,
somewhere in there.
I think
because our first few videos were Gen Con, and it was like a month out.
Yeah, I think technically the channel started in late June, but I don't really think we had any material going until July. Or not anything serious. Which a lot of that was pre-Gen Con material because
hopes and dreams for Gen Con,
yes, because Gen Con was 1 month away in August.
And we have attended. I have attended the last 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And you've gone ever since they got in Indy.
Yeah, which I believe was 2003. So this will make the... Yeah, so this year, I believe it's 2003, and if so, this year will be the 20th anniversary. Although it'll be the 19th Gen Con, because there was a skip due to the COVID times.
Yes, that was horrible. The one right after that is where...
Aside from having to wear the masks, I actually liked the one after that. Like, there was less there, but there was a lot less people there, too.
Yeah.
And we were able to easily stay downtown.
Yeah. Like we got rooms downtown on like no notice.
Yeah, it was like a week before. We're just like, let's go for it.
We were just like, let's give it a try this year.
So anyway, we mainly go to 2 conventions, Gen Con and the Indiana Comic Con.
Because they're both local for us.
Right, since we live here in Indiana. And there's a few other little shows we've gone to. Like there's been a Lego convention we've gone to a couple times at the State Fairgrounds, and I don't think you went with me the one year I went, but there is a toy and comic show in Bloomington. It's usually too close to Gen Con, so I don't go.
Yeah, I've not been to that one.
But Jimmy and I did go one year, and it was a nice little show. We'll probably go back. So that's kind of where this is going. But we'll get to that in a moment. And so we've also done a number of videos. We're in the 70s or 80s right now. And we've covered a broad range of topics because that's part of our goal. We don't want to be a single issue channel. Even though the metrics say we should focus entirely on Battletech.
This is true.
But we have a lot of broad interest, and this is, as much as we do want to ultimately monetize this whole deal,
we're doing this because of what interests us.
Right. And hopefully some of you. So that's what we've been doing, and we've explored some options. We've had some issues getting together, especially here towards the holidays. And there's nothing really to be done about that, unfortunately. I've noticed a number of other creators basically like take about 3 weeks off unless something earth-shattering happens, which in the case of D&D, it has several things.
Yeah.
Check our other videos that I'll probably link to here. They'll be up here somewhere, maybe at the end of the video. I've still been figuring out some of the editing software, and we're trying to finally nail down how to do this so we don't have to be here in person together. And I think I've got a solution figured out. We just have to test a few things. And if we can get that rolling, our videos will hopefully be a little more frequent with 2 or 3 of us together. Brad is not here at the moment. For those of you who don't know, there is a third gentleman with our channel. That's why our Geek Cabal symbol has the 3 people in it.
You can probably guess who's supposed to be who by watching our videos.
Yeah. I'm Bobby, and this is Chad, and Brad is the one not present at the moment.
I just meant in the picture.
Yeah. The picture's fairly accurate.
There's only one of them there that's bald, so.
Yeah. And the picture has one gentleman with long hair. That's me. In case because I usually have it tucked back, but that's me. So so hopefully we'll be able to iron that out and get the 3 of us in the videos, because I think those videos are better. Playing off each other and different ideas. They're longer, but it's more of a conversation, and I think people do want that. I hope, but also videos that are to the point, and we're trying to iron out a little bit better delivery on some of our videos so they are shorter and to the point.
Yeah.
Because some should just be like, here's information. Go.
And should be like 10, 15 minutes long, not an hour long, where it's 5 minutes of information, us rambling for 50, and then 5 more minutes of information.
Yeah, that's a problem. And in fact, part of the solution so that we still have material is Brad and myself have begun recording while we're driving or while we're sitting somewhere for topics that one of us can handle solo. And even earlier today, before I left work, I recorded a video to deal with the current kerfuffle with Dungeons and Dragons. And in fact, it's probably going to premiere before this one, because it's being loaded to YouTube right now on my computer at the house. So I recorded one version before I left work, and by the time I was done, I realized I had talked for 45 minutes on something I meant to spend maybe 15 minutes on. So I gathered my thoughts and then drove home from work, and it's a 20-minute drive, and told myself, I will have this done by the time I get to the house, or no more than a couple minutes while I'm sitting in the driveway. And so the second recording got down to 22 minutes. That's the one that's being uploaded. I will upload the longer one because there is what I feel is important commentary in there. But the shorter one is the short and to the point. And we might do things that way, But the trouble is editing down the longer videos, because someone will make a point and they'll circle back to it later, and it's hard to edit things out like that. And we don't have a teleprompter, so a script is probably a long way off. Our main goals moving forward are to build on what we have, because as of last check, we have 142 subscribers, which is more than I expected at this point.
It's been like half a year and we have that many.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen other channels that focus on a single thing, and it's mainly hot takes on certain things.
And they blow up with subscribers,
but they've hit 1,000 subscribers in the same time frame.
I'm surprised we have over 100.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, because obviously if you've seen our other videos, our production quality, it's improving, but it still leaves things to be desired, and we know that.
Yep.
Which is one of the reasons why we ultimately do hope to monetize, is so we can afford better equipment and possibly even a dedicated recording space somewhere. Because we're using a vacant house. Okay, this is a kitchen right here, So
with an old timey phone.
Yes, with an old timey phone that I have been asked a question about. I don't remember what the question was. They just asked something about the phone, but that they never responded. So it did work. I don't think it's hooked up right now though. I don't think the phone line is hooked up here to the house because it's vacant. But anyway, all that aside. So we plan on trying to, as we go along, improve our technical qualities, which, is happening. Hopefully sort out being able to record in different areas, merge it all together into a single video and get it up in time, and try to have, even if it has to just be one of us solo, try to have a more immediate response to bigger events. So we're not telling you like a week and a half later, hey, that thing you heard about a week and a half ago and saw 10 videos about?
Here's our opinion now.
Here's our opinion on it. So it might be a quick, like, one of us throwing out their opinion, and then when we can get together, a more thorough talk. But we do want to have that. I mean, that's what drives clicks, unfortunately. Because I would much rather do an actual discussion, but unfortunately everything has to move at the speed of light.
Come for the hot takes, stay for the nerd stuff.
Yeah, well, we're hoping to avoid a lot of the hot takes, Like,
yes, we I don't think we really have hot
well,
takes.
I'm sure we could come up with them,
Oh, I could,
but
but
we want to keep the channel as even keeled as possible.
yes,
And a key component of the hot take is who do you want to piss off today?
I don't
So
want to piss anybody off.
yeah, we want people to watch and not hate watch,
Yes.
like I do a couple channels, unfortunately. Uh, yeah, I'll tell you about him later. One is a complete psychopath as far as Dungeons and Dragons.
I
Like
Oh, I
like
know the one you're talking about.
like I've seen some older videos. He used to be somewhat reasonable, but somewhere along the way, I think this man got hit in the head or electrocuted or took way too much acid or something. And the other day, in one of his videos, he mentioned he had a wife and 4 kids, and I thought, "Oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, who could possibly stand to be around this person?" I'm not going to name his name. Those of you who watch D&D videos, he puts out like 5 a day, so you probably know who I'm talking about. Has all kinds of insane ideas about Dungeons and Dragons. Somehow he has like 2,000 subscribers, even though his videos have like 10 views. Beats the hell out of me how he does it. But anyway, that's not the point. Uh, One of our goals is to not devolve into that.
Yes.
So that's why I try to double check the videos I record by myself to make sure I haven't just become some rambling fool. Too much of one anyway. So, like I said, technical improvement. Big picture, we'd really like to try to go to Origins this year, which is the other kind of big Midwestern gaming convention.
Well, there's also Adepticon.
Yeah, there's a bunch of other smaller conventions. Like, I don't think Adepticon or GaryCon are in the cards this year. I think that they're too early in the year. We haven't planned for them.
This is true.
Like Adepticon's in March, and I think GaryCon's in March also, or February. It's like right around the corner. I looked it up the other day,
Oh wow.
and that's a long term goal. I do want us to be able to go to some of the other shows, which is going to mean smaller regional shows like that, and more long term. Not this year. In other words, something like PAX East might be nice to go to. That's somewhere on the East Coast. I don't know where exactly. But things like that, because we want to see the other shows to see how they compare.
Yeah.
But we know in a lot of ways they're not going to compare to Gen Con because it is the largest gaming convention in the country, and debatably the largest in the world. I've heard Essen is larger, but I've also heard Essen's attendance counting doesn't use the same system. So
Essen is
it's
also more geared towards the regular consumer. So they're more dealer's hall with
yeah,
much fewer events going on.
yeah. But I'm just saying, from what I've heard on the attendance count, it's we can't take it at face value because they don't structure it the same way Gen Con does. So it's difficult to say how many people actually do show up. Because like Gen Con uses a two-tiered system. In case you ever read one of their press releases, they have one system where they count total attendance, which is if you buy a badge for 4 days, you count as 4 people because you're there all 4 days.
I'm big enough for that.
And I believe the term for the other one is what they call turnstile attendance, which is literally how many people are there. The one you think would be the real number, which is how many badges are sold. And that's obviously going to be a lower number because not everyone buys a 4 day badge. So I think Essen only uses the second one, so it sounds like it's a really impressive number. But if you break it down the other way, it's a lot closer, as I understand it anyway. The odds of us getting to Essen anytime soon are very slim.
Yes,
It's
yes.
it's in
I would need to get a passport.
yes. I know I would too, and if I had to guess, Brad probably would too, but I don't know for sure. But it's in Germany, so like to go, but
Would love to go.
it's in Germany. So, like I said, Origins is a hopeful. We'll be going to Gen Con and Indiana Comic Con because we already planned those.
Yeah, those are two pretty much set in stone ones.
Yeah, and Origins is a matter of it's the next state over, so it's within easy driving distance. Although by that same logic, so is Adepticon and GaryCon, because I actually finally looked at a map to see where everything sits, and like Lake Geneva is not all that far north of Chicago,
Really?
and Adepticon is in, I believe, a Chicago suburb.
One of the southern ones, which is even closer
Yeah,
to
it's one of the
us.
southern ones. So there's probably only about an hour's difference, if I had to guess, looking at the map, driving between the two for us. So, for those of you that don't know, GaryCon is held in Lake Geneva, which is where Gen Con got its name. And that's where Gary Gygax first hosted the event way back when in the late 60s, 68, 67, 68, for the first year. And because that's where he lived, and that's where this is before he even had D&D up and running. It's made as a wargaming convention then, like one of the first of its kind in the country. And that's where the name Gen Con came from. Like the second or third year, the name took off and stuck. Eventually, they moved it to, I believe, Milwaukee, and then to its current location in Indianapolis, where it's been, like I said, for about 20 years now. Where hopefully it will remain, because Indianapolis as a city is designed for conventions and is improving every year on that front, building new hotels. And they're supposed to be expanding the convention center again.
Yeah. It's supposed to be going out over that courtyard to the east of the convention
Yeah,
center.
the Pan Am Plaza.
Yeah, it's supposed to like be built up over that as well and take over, I think, part of the mall. And
Well, I know they're going to build from the plans that they've shown in the paper. They're supposed to be building another hotel, two more hotels, on the side of the Pan Am Plaza, which means I'm
Ooh.
assuming they're going to tear down the building that's there currently.
Wait, they're going to tear down the Pan Am building?
I think they almost have to for what they're going to do, but I could be mistaken on that. So they're going to build the one hotel first, let attendants kind of catch up, and then build the other hotel, so that they don't have just a sudden glut of rooms. You know,
That would be nice, though, if they did.
yeah, it'd make it a lot easier for us to get rooms downtown. Although Brad has proposed the Airbnb option.
No.
So, well,
My whole reason to stay downtown is to be right there.
okay. Well, we can
Airbnb means farther away,
sure, but
to where you have to drive in.
sure, but if I may, slight diversion here, folks. If I may, if it's relatively close, because there is residences somewhat close. If it's relatively close, but is significantly cheaper, we can use the difference to just have an Uber take us back and forth. So we don't have to drive. Not that we get, hammered or anything while we're up there, but, if we wanted to drink, we could. More than we do.
I think that one, the closest I've gotten to being hammered was at Indiana Comic Con, where Fogo had that weird drink.
Or we got talking to you in the shots.
Yes.
Yeah.
The what was it? $15-$20 shots.
Yeah, it wasn't cheap. But
They were strong.
yeah. So anyway, so as far as major conventions, like I said, we're hoping to go to Origins. We're going to have to start like seriously looking into that, and trying to pull together whatever we're going to do, and talk to a few folks that have been there before, and figure out the lay of the land as far as like a hotel and things like that. Because it's in Columbus, which I'm not sure I've ever personally been to Columbus. I've been to Cincinnati and Dayton and like that part of Ohio several times. I got relatives there, but I don't believe I've been north into Columbus, so I don't know the area at all. Have to check it out. And hopefully we'll actually get some stuff from the Indiana Comic Con as well. I know we haven't talked about comics on this channel. It's one of the two other topics beyond all the ones we've talked about so far that we initially wanted to talk about, the other being Warhammer.
I like the lore behind Warhammer. I don't really play the game that much, but
So those are two more topics we're going to be bringing into the rotation. And at the moment, that will probably round out the rotation, and it'll just be recording more of what we've been recording. So it'll be, we'll have movie reviews whenever there's movies worth watching. That's the big problem. Since the last movie review we did, the only movie we've gone to go see, well, together, you went to go see a different movie,
Yep.
and I went to go see a different movie, but the only movie we've gone to go see together was Black Adam, and
It was not on opening weekend.
it
Folks.
wasn't on opening weekend. It was several weeks later, and it was a couple weeks again before we were able to get together to do anything.
Yep.
So it would have been that much later, and at that point, it's like I think it was on HBO Max.
Yep.
So we just didn't bother because it wasn't going to be timely. Give you a real brief review. Thought it was entertaining. Don't know what all the complaints are about.
I liked it.
It's definitely a check your brain at the door movie. It's not some intellectual highlight,
No,
but
it does have moments where it tries to be, but
yes, in the debate of do we fight or do we talk, which usually results in we fight, but occasionally they talk or they talk about fighting. But yeah, I mean, I thought everyone gave decent performances. That The Rock was okay as Black Adam.
Aldous
I didn't-
Hodges was good as Hawkman, which, if you guys have seen Leverage, he was in that.
That's where I never watched the show, but I saw the trailers for it all the time on TNT. That's where I couldn't.
He was the
place it.
hacker in Leverage.
The whole time I was watching the movie, I was like, I've seen this guy somewhere. Where is it? I should have just looked it up. But anyway, Pierce Brosnan,
Great as Dr. Fate.
great as Dr. Fate, taking off the helmet like he's not supposed to all the time.
Wait,
Then,
he's not supposed to?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Dr. Fate's only allowed to take the helmet off like once a year or something. So some weird thing. Like I don't follow DC much, so I couldn't say for sure. I just caught that comment online. But it's Pierce Brosnan. I mean,
You ain't gonna hide his face for the
he's-
entire movie.
He's not committed like Carl Urban is to a role.
Yeah.
Carl Urban, we need you to wear this helmet throughout the whole Judge Dredd movie. No problem. People recognize my jawline. I was in Doom.
Well, we will have scenes where you're not wearing the helmet,
You just won't
but
see your
everything
face.
above your mouth is in complete blackness.
I mean, that's commitment,
It is.
Like, I wish some of the superhero folks would commit like that, but anyway.
They just need to hire Carl Urban.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they did. As a guy that didn't wear a mask. He was an executioner, right?
Yeah, he was.
But, yeah. So anyway, hopefully we'll be able to do some more movie reviews. Or if you folks are finding them being really late, and we could tell you if it's worthwhile to watch it on streaming, we'll do that. We did do some show reviews. Those we can definitely do more timely because those are all streaming shows. I don't know what we're actually looking at this year between Marvel and Star Wars and whatever randomness Amazon Prime throws
I think
together.
Ahsoka and Mandalorian, the new season for The Mandalorian is supposed to be out this year.
Yeah.
As well as Bad Batch Season 2.
Okay. I didn't watch season 1.
Neither have I. I haven't even finished Clone Wars.
Yeah, I really should watch that and Rebels. Like, I know Rebels got off to a rocky start, but it definitely had its moments later on in the show from what I saw. Mostly involving Darth Maul, but, good stuff nonetheless. So, yeah, we want to do some more, a little bit more of that. And like we mentioned in our other video, we're somewhat committed to how we're going to handle spoilers, which will primarily be we'll do the spoiler-free part, then we'll announce from here forward are spoilers and go with it. And if we need to mention something in another video, if it's not more than a couple years old, we'll tell you that there's spoilers. We'll try to mention that there's spoilers no matter what. But, if it's like for Conan the Barbarian from 40 years ago, I'm sorry if I
Frank Herbert's Dune.
yeah, I'm sorry if I mistakenly forget to mention spoilers ahead. By the way, that was the other movie I went to go watch with Sarah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a 40-year-old movie, folks. But
I saw Violent Night in theaters.
I wish I would have gone to go see that. It looked good.
It was good.
So I'll definitely be catching that when it comes on streaming. But yeah, so basically, we're going to try to improve what we're doing, do more of what we've been doing, and hopefully get it to where we can all record simultaneously, even if we're not together. And like I said, we're going to try to hammer that out here in the next month or so. It's going to require some testing of a few things, and I mean, everyone else on YouTube seems to have figured out how to do it, so it can't be that hard, you know. Uh, I've watched some videos about it, some ideas, and the one I have in mind seems to be the one a few people recommend, and it seems it's going to involve the least amount of editing on my part. So here's hoping, because that's a big part of the problem is editing. It takes a while because you have to sit there and watch the whole video over again, and it's really bad if it's a video I'm not in, because while I'm recording these things, I keep mental notes of when things happen. So, like, if I know there's a blunder in the middle of the video, I know to look for it and to fix it. But if I'm not in the video, I actually have to really pay attention to it, and it's a lot more. It's more time consuming because I can't do anything else while I'm doing it, and because I gotta make sure I gotta make sure I catch things. Like this primarily is like the videos Brad has recorded, because there've been things like he sits there in a van because he drives folks around, and they'll be doing stuff, and he'll be like in the middle of the video, and someone will just come to the window and start talking to him. Well, if I'm not paying attention, I'm not going to catch that, and it's going to wind up on YouTube that way. And thankfully, I have caught everything because like in one, like someone just backed into the van carrying something, and it clearly like disrupts the video, so I had to edit that out. But I really have to pay attention because I have to figure out what he's talking about, so that if I do have to cut something, I have to make sure that everything still works conversationally, and it's just a little bit more time consuming. So whenever I'm actually in the videos, so the plan will hopefully eliminate a lot of these problems. So because I'll be in one of the streams myself, and I'll know what's going on in the other two. So anyway, so like I said, we plan on going to, if possible, plan on going to Origins and still going to Gen Con and Comic Con. I don't know how much we're going to have from Comic Con because Comic Con is a much smaller convention than Gen Con.
Yeah.
We could probably do like a 15-minute walkthrough and show you the entire convention.
Yeah, it takes up like a third to half of the dealer's hall that Gen Con does.
Yeah.
And most of, like, a good chunk of that is for celebrities.
Yeah, and I don't know how close we'd be able to get to filming them because the whole deal with them is they're charging to take your picture with them.
Yep.
And so they're not going to want someone to just come up and get right up next to them. So it's going to be from like 100 feet away and be like, trust me, that's
pixelated image.
Yeah, trust me, that's William Shatner over there, or that's Kevin Sorbo over there, or whoever,
We won't get Jason David Franks back.
No, unfortunately this year took some people that...
I am kicking myself. I could have got his autograph last year.
Hey, Chad, I could have gotten David Carradine's autograph like a year before he had his little incident in the hotel. I'm definitely not going to describe what happened there on YouTube. You can look it up if you really want to.
We don't want to get demonetized already.
Yeah. God, who else was there? Nichelle Nichols. She passed away, right?
Yeah.
She was at Gen Con promoting Settlers of Catan Star Trek Edition one year. Could have gotten her autograph. Did get John Rhys Davies' picture, though. That's good. Well, a picture with me and my friend Chris with John Rhys Davies. There's a whole backstory to that I'll go into in another video. This is unimportant for right now. And I do have Tracy Lord's autograph. Got that for free at Gen Con. Then that's Tracy Lords, in case that didn't come through clearly in my pronunciation. Those of you who know her from her less risque videos, she was in the first Blade movie. She's the girl that brings the guy to the club at the very beginning of the movie. Blade kills her about 5 minutes later. The other, she was in several adult films, known for the fact that she was in them before she was 18. Caused quite a stir in the industry, as I'm sure you can imagine. Then, man, who else was there that year? Gen Con actually used to have autographs. Like Kevin Sorbo was there one year, and he is as tall as you think he is. By the way, like that's not movie magic. He's tall.
Wow.
Uh, Several of the people from MythBusters, Chris ended up getting their autographs. Mark Singer was there one year. The Beastmaster. I believe
That is an autograph I would like.
I believe Richard Roundtree, the guy who played Shaft, I believe he was there one year. I could be mistaken on that, but I'm pretty sure it was him. But anyway, and Chekhov, the original Chekhov.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he was there. And I regret not getting his autograph, although less for Star Trek and more for Babylon 5. For those of you that never saw
Isn't
it...
that Walter Koenig, by the
Walter
way?
Koenig, yeah. For those of you that never saw it, Babylon 5, he plays a villain there, and he is excellent at it. Like, Chekhov, whatever, that's okay. Bester from Babylon 5, that's his peak performance. Check it out. I think it's on HBO Max right now. Dated 90s effects. Literally all the special effects were done on a laptop in the 90s for the Starship battles. Ignore that. It's an excellent show.
They're not going to be any worse than the special effects in The Last Starfighter.
That's true.
And that still somewhat holds up.
Yeah. So anyway, folks, that's our plans. We've got a few more ideas we've talked about, like one of our movie segments. We've kind of hit around the idea, something along the lines of finding movies that are almost good, or that have a kernel of a good idea or good scenes, but it just brought down by the rest of the movie. Tentatively titled Diamonds in the Rough.
And then there's the one I want us to call Rose-Colored Glasses, where it's like, hey, here's a movie that when you, like, years and years ago, you loved.
Yeah.
And then...
We're going to go back and watch movies that kid us thought was excellent. Let's see what adult us thinks about them.
Yes.
And so we've got a few ideas like that.
We will not do Steel. Like, I've already tried that one on my own years ago. No,
I thought Steel was terrible from the get-go.
I was the target audience at that point, age-wise.
Yeah, I forgot I am notably older, so...
So, like, I liked it when I was little. But, and then... Yeah, no.
But yeah, so that's the general ideas for where we're going with some of this. We'll have to see how the whole monetization thing goes. We are going to be exploring ideas beyond just having 1,000 subscribers and enough watch hours here on YouTube. Like we do have very tentative ideas thus far for some D&D type products that we'd probably put on like Drive-Thru RPG or something. Very early planning phases, and current news might affect those plans.
Yeah.
So watch that video I talked about earlier. We're going to have to assess where that stands. And we might have some other ideas, things that we try to sell through like Redbubble or Etsy, things like that.
Teespring,
because we've got some things floating around out there. I want to build the channel up more first before we start linking to everything. Hopefully we'll get to the point that we could actually put our logo on a few things and, maybe see someone at a convention with it, or we'll wear it ourselves, whatever.
I am not above wearing my own merchandise.
Shameless self-promotion. That's how Stan Lee made it. So it's good enough for him. It's good enough for us. But so that's our plans going forward, and hopefully you will join us on this ride. And those of you who come late to the game, there's plenty of room in the bus. Hop on in. So hopefully you watched it this far. If you did, we appreciate it.
If this is your first video of us, yes, we do ramble a lot in our videos. We do try to cut it down. But...
Yeah, this was always destined to be a rambling one, because this is, what we're doing. So,
what we want to do, not even what we're doing, what we want to do.
And we've done a few other updates if you check the channel. Although I think it's mainly just been the intro, then one update, right? Or do we have two? I think it's just the one.
I think just the one so far.
So if you've made it this far and you haven't yet, we always appreciate subscribe, comments. Share. I don't know who else wants to see this one other than people already here, but
Yeah.
hey, if you know someone that you think would, send them that link
Oh yeah.
because we always appreciate it. But mainly the comments. We've got a lot of people that do comment. We try to engage with them. Also, we have a Twitter account. I'll have a link to it down in the thing. At some point in this video, it might have flashed up here somewhere too. Just depends on what I decide to do in editing. Sometimes I get crazy with it. You know, still ironing out the kinks. So I like to experiment. So we'll see what happens. But if it's not up here, it's definitely going to be down in the down a pinned comment down below. All the other links, they'll tend to show up here. It's a little eye thing, and like you click it and it slides over. And then at the end of the video, there's that whole like, oh, check out this other stuff. Which, sad to say, I only figured out like a month ago how to do that. So
And we haven't really had a bunch of new videos since then.
yeah, so that's still a process, and I'm trying to figure out if we actually want to put like a logo or something there. I've just put a black screen so it all stands out, but I might try to fiddle with it and get our logo centered so that it all looks right. But that's a project for another day. So let me know what you think of that idea. But anyway, thank you folks for watching, and hopefully we will see you later.